how to deal with losing in Jiu-Jitsu. This is such an important topic and something you really have to get your head around, because losing in one way or another is a bit of a gift when it comes to really helping you develop faster. And it sounds weird, losing helps you, but it's counterintuitive, but it makes sense. And this is something that I'm really gonna have to deal with now, because I just had my first competition back after obviously breaking my leg, getting surgery, this big comeback, taking 5 months off training and then doing this competition. Honestly, I wanted to have a fairy tale story where I went to the competition, just smashed everyone, but it didn't work out that way. I lost 2 very close matches. I won 1 match, barely. And it really, really put into perspective of the difference between competing, training, etc., and what makes someone a good competitor. Last year, I had pretty much 100 matches, and those matches led me up into Nogi Worlds, where I was able to almost win my weight class in absolute by getting double silver. And that was a massive thing for me, is doing that. And now, this big fall from grace, doing these local matches and losing. And it really reminds me of the things that made me good back then and what I'm gonna do now to improve. And I really hope it can help you as well. There's gonna be 2 aspects when it comes to improving yourself and learning from your losses in Jiu-Jitsu. One, of course, the physical application, where you go to training and you figure out, okay, this is what I need to practice. But 2, the psychological aspect. When you lose, you should be upset. You're gonna be sad. Oh, I lost this match. I'm gonna be, why am I so annoyed? You can cry, etc. It's actually totally fine. And you need to feel those emotions, and you need to feel them now. You don't wanna bury them and say, and you don't develop this fear of losing. Oh my God, I don't wanna, you did a great job. You went to competition, you did the competition, and you lost. That's really important to understand. And honestly, even though losing is horrible, you should be happy that you went there and did the thing anyway, which is very, very hard. And obviously I struggle with this as well. You should be proud of yourself to just go through that adversity, because people are scared of that kind of adversity. And that's the reason people don't compete, and they're scared to go put themselves out there. So putting yourself out, like step 1, you've just done it. You've done a great job. Okay, really understand that. That's something I'm telling myself that. It's hard for me to accept, but you've done something that's really difficult, you really cared about, and you took a risk. You took a risk. You went and did something that was super freaky. You didn't want to lose, and you did. And now you have to deal with the loss and the grief of losing. So congratulations, you lost. Step 1 is feel the pain. Feel the pain of losing, psychological. Don't crash out. Don't go gambling $1 million and snorting various substances, but feel the pain of losing, because understanding that feeling that grief is that's gonna help you get over it, is what's gonna help you bounce back. You don't wanna be the guy who develops a fear of loss and a fear of failure and never compete again. So step 1, get comfortable with the grief of losing, okay? Once you're comfortable with this, guys, and you've felt the pain and you've been sad for a couple of days and you ate Ben and Jerry's, now it's time to see, how can I improve? And this is something that really helped me last year, guys. In the matches that I lost last year, I lost probably in my 85 matches, I think I lost 8 matches. And those are the ones that made me so much better. And I remember being at Nogi Worlds, and every single time I saw the mistake I made in the matches that I lost, I was able to not repeat that mistake on that day. Because guys, here's the real thing. And a lot of people say that you have to make mistakes. Guys, you can make 1 million mistakes. The real mistakes that matter are the mistakes that you learn from, okay? That's gonna be super, super important. You can make a mistake 10,000 times in a row and it's gonna be the exact same mistake. You're gonna relive Groundhog Day, okay? And that happens a lot in training unless you have someone analyzing your matches. But by the way, guys, if you want your matches analyzed and coaching, hit up the caption. Ebstays Online, it's my coaching program. But if you don't have that like one-on-one support constantly, those mistakes are gonna be repeated. And that's the real beauty of competition, is that 1, a mistake really costs you because now you have to lose. But 2, the grief that pain and the pain and that loss and that mistake causes you is what's gonna make that mistake really matter to you in the future. And when you see that mistake in the future, you're going to be able to repair it. So once you lose, the psychological thing I want you to do is 1, obviously feel the grief. And then 2, consider the things that went wrong. Okay, why did I lose? And usually I like to split it up into 1, maybe a psychological aspect of I was being too frantic. So I'll give you the example of what I had for the past weekend. I felt so rusty competing, and I felt something like I was making the same mistakes that I was making a few years ago. So it was a bit more easy for me to really look at these mistakes, because obviously I've had such time off, etc., injury. But it was really important for me to know what I did wrong. So number 1, what did I do wrong this weekend? I was a bit frantic in my matches. I kept accepting the same positions and I kept rushing towards the positions. Okay, so that's a psychological aspect. How do I fix that? By going back into training, consciously being less frantic and obviously competing more. I want to do more competitions and get back to my old self. Number 2, technical aspects. What were the technical things I did wrong? Okay, for me, it was I ended up in close guard way too often. I was playing the close guard 11 times, which is a crazy number. And I need to sharpen up my leg entanglements. I was a bit worried. Firstly, the psychological aspect, I was worried in the leg entanglement that my own leg was going to get caught. But in hindsight, my opponents were worried about my leg entanglements, and they were worried that I was going to leg lock them. So the psychological aspect of being like, okay, well, maybe I should probably consider less about what they're going to do to me and more what they think I'm going to do to them. And 2, just sharpen up those skills in general. So sharpening up your skills both technically and psychologically. I was too frantic on the weekend. I was too this and that, right? But making sure that you actually go back into training and fix those mistakes. Because if you don't fix those mistakes, it's just going to end up, you're going to end up spinning a wheel constantly. You're never going to actually improve, right? If you go back to competition and you make the same mistakes that you made at this competition, well, now you're just going to feel the same grief twice. It's like going back to someone, someone who maybe did you wrong and you go back to them, they do you wrong again, well, now you're going to feel it twice. What's the point of that? Why would you do that? Go back to competition, and next time you compete, you should have at least 2 or 3 mistakes in the last competition that you're brushing up and you're making sure that you don't repeat again, okay? So dealing with a loss, that's how I'm going to deal with this one, is making sure that when I go back to competition, the mistakes I made in this competition are on the forefront of my mind and I've been practicing them and training. The psychological aspect of knowing that I actually did a good thing of competing. I went to compete, I risked failure, I lost, but it doesn't mean that I am a failure, right? It doesn't mean I'm evil. Like, I am capable of winning, and I've proven it in the past. I've beaten world champions. I've been on Who's Number One, and I won my match on Who's Number One against the world champion himself. And now losing local matches, it's very easy for me personally, and I know that you guys at home probably feel similar. It's very easy for me to think, wow, I just suck. I'm only as good as my last match, The last guy, he beat me. I got swept. I haven't been swept in competition my whole life. I got swept. The guy took my back, and I had to escape the back, and then I lost 6-0. Like, I can really get into the mindset of, wow, I suck. I suck, full stop. It's not the case, guys. You can have a bad performance, and there can be various aspects to that performance that made it bad. For example, for me, I felt like I was rusty, didn't compete for so long, injury. It doesn't matter. These things don't matter. What matters is the fact that you can bounce back and the fact that you can stay focused. Don't focus on the bad things. Oh, I suck. I'm so bad at jiu-jitsu. Oh my God, he entered my legs. I couldn't pass it. This is what makes you scared. This is what gives you the fear of failure. And this is what makes you someone who is adverse to competing. Oh, I don't want to compete. I'm so worried. Get over this stuff. It's unimportant. What's important is that you consider, okay, here's what went wrong. I was too frantic. I ended up in the closed guard. My leg entanglements were poor. Go into the damn training room and fix those mistakes. And really, that side of your brain that's going to be toxic, fine. It's probably going to come out a few times because you've allowed yourself to fail and your brain doesn't like that. But it doesn't mean you have to give in to those snakes. You don't have to give in to them. Just consider, okay, I made these mistakes. Maybe I'm not at the level I hoped I was or I want to be. But you're a human. You're a human. Everyone in the history of the earth has failed. Right? That's really important. And your high standard for yourself is something that can make or break you. So the fact that you're watching this video means that you obviously feel an adverse feeling to your failures and your losses, and you feel the need to improve. Make sure that you actually do improve instead of hindering yourself. And really, a lot of this, when it comes to dealing with your failures and dealing with losses, is just allowing yourself to feel the grief and actually just avoiding the bad things. If you can just avoid the adverse feelings and focus on what needs to happen, improve your psychological understanding of competition, improve your tactics, improve the techniques that happen in the competition, and go and compete again without feeling less confident because of the loss that happened this time. And the reason, and by the way, guys, confidence usually comes from the accumulation of physical skills. So if you can go and develop a new skill between now and the next competition, and usually I want that skill to be something that failed in the last competition. I remember last year, when I was preparing for Nogi Worlds, I fought a guy, and every time I got to the body lock, he kept escaping the body lock. Okay? I fought the same guy at Nogi Worlds 2 months later, and I body locked past him twice because I went to training and I fixed that mistake. I didn't allow the psychological aspect of, oh my God, he's gonna bash me, he beat me last time. Oh, he's so good at getting to the close guard. Guys, this is so irrelevant. Why am I thinking about this? I went back to training, I worked on damn body lock, I went back to Nogi Worlds 2 months later and I smashed him, right? And that's exactly what I plan to do to the guys that beat me in this recent competition. They put me in the close guard. Again, I went back to the old habit that I had because I guess I was rusty. It's fine. It's fine. I'm allowed to be rusty. I broke my leg. You are allowed to make failures. You are not perfect. Hard to believe. You need to be able to make those failures, go back to training and fix them, okay? Once you're able to fix them, keeping the adverse feeling in your mind of, oh my God, I suck, deconsider it. Every time you think about it is just a hindrance, okay? Or at least have something to buffer it. Every time you think that, think, no, I don't suck. And this, by the way, is not easy. You have to tell yourself this. I don't actually suck. I just made these mistakes. And I can obviously pinpoint a few mistakes I made from the week. And I can think of 5 mistakes that I made. That's the key, guys, is not hurting yourself for losing, but making sure the mistakes you made today are not repeated tomorrow. Guys, if you have any questions on this, if I was rambling, let me know as well, because obviously I haven't made a video like this before. And it's something close to my heart, so it's going to be a bit less structured, a bit more free-flowing. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Please subscribe. And if you want online coaching, and if you need someone to obviously do this for you, I know a lot of you guys can be white belts and blue belts and you don't really understand how to analyze your matches. That's what I do personally for my students. I analyze their matches and I make sure they don't repeat mistakes. And they're really, really improving. So if you want to take a look, guys, in the caption, ebsays.online, check it out. 30-day guarantee. If you don't feel like you improve, I'll give you your money back. But thanks, guys, for watching. Yeah.